Hey, welcome to this edition of the Peep Show, and this is our second edition, second episode where we're doing talk, and in this case, we're doing an interview with a vendor. And one of the things I'd like to do is give some exposure to some of the smaller vendors out there who are up and coming and making new different things for people in the community. Now, just a couple quick disclaimers. Number one, I'm getting nothing for this except another video to put on YouTube. And also, this isn't a direct endorsement of any vendor that I talk to. In fact, if any other vendors want to come on here, just contact me. And but I have used his products, so life is good. So anyway, let's say hello to the great Farrell Fox. My
Yep.
first question for you is your real name Farrell Fox?
I get that a question a lot. Yeah. My name is Farrell Fox.
Okay. So you
My
you
grandparents named him. I guess they had a sense of humor back then.
yeah, yeah, okay. So you provide mostly canvas products. Just tell us how you kind of got into this and what you make.
I guess you can thank my mom for that. When I was really young, about a World War II haversack was all messed up. Started sewing it by hand. She said, "Hey, you're doing it the hard way." So she bought me a cheap little sewing machine from Sears, and I got addicted to sewing machines and making canvas stuff. And once I got into there was a lot of products that weren't available. I said, "Hey, I can make that." So once I started making my stuff, everybody else said, "Oh, hey, I'd like some of that too." So I started making stuff for everybody else, which eventually funded the hobby. So that's
Hmm.
how I got roped into it.
Yeah, it's funny. Back in the 80s, I actually got, I forget what it was, but it was actually a piece that was originally made by Paul Chipper. And he ended up running that World War I business for a number of years. So I had actually one of his first pieces. It was a canteen, actually. So when did you start getting into Jeep parts and military vehicle parts?
Jeep back in, yeah, I bought my first World War II vehicle back in 2010, I think it was. Um, and then shortly after that, I started getting into canvas, mostly because I really needed canvas and everybody was out of stock. So I just started making my own stuff. And again, I started making my stuff. Other people said, "Hey, I like that too. Can you make some stuff for me?"
Hmm.
And it sort of morphed into that. And then it morphed into even early and late grill welting or the correct style hardware for the canvas tops.
Hmm. Okay, it's cutting out a little bit, not too much, but missing like a word here and there. But yeah, and in fact, I recently purchased a set of your door straps for my slack grill, and I believe I have some welting for my slack grill coming in the mail also. So you're doing just kind of run down your whole product list, or your main items that you make right now.
Most of the product is pretty basic or mostly encompassing. The only thing I don't do is canvas seats. That I sort of gave to Nick Hopper. He was a lot better at it than I was, and I was more interested in doing top. So we sort of said, "Well, I'll do tops. If you want to do seats." So it sort of helps us both kind of focus in and hone in on our skills on one particular item instead of trying to be an expert in every single aspect of canvas.
Hmm.
So, but mostly what I offer is the canvas tops, the doors, the windshield covers, all of the straps, whether it's 1 inch or inch and a half for your gas cannon door straps. I recently started making the grill welting for the early slack grills and the later MBs, which is a real pain in the butt to make, by the way. But stuff like that, stuff that's just not available. Or, for example, canvas tops and doors, which both MB and the GPW use, but they're both very different by comparison. GPW uses cotton binding tape, whereas a Willys uses leatherette. And again, nobody really offered that in the beginning, so I started making this stuff, and that's how it took off.
Hmm. Yeah, and it seems like the long-term canvas vendors that have been in the hobby seem to be kind of starting to kind of dry up. I believe one of them stopped taking new orders a couple months ago, and there's a big one that's been around a long time that seems pretty good on basic stuff, but when you get, for instance, I ordered a top for my WC8 and it took me 14 months. And it was just kind of this comedy of events throughout the whole process. And eventually I've gotten it and it's a great product, but it seems like there's another generation kind of coming up. But what's your relationship with Nick?
Nick Hopper and I, we both sort of met through online forums, and we both quickly realized that we were both a couple of canvas nerds, and we're really into the detailed stuff. So we started trading information back and forth, probably about 10 years ago, I would say now. And so we've communicated quite often back and forth ever since. And we trade, information or materials or patterns and things like that. And so I think I got him addicted to the wartime sewing machine. So he's since amassed his collection of wartime sewing machines to make his product.
Hmm. Yeah, so you focus on World War II stuff. Are there any plans to go outside of that box?
Eventually, right now, the original plan was to do canvas full time, although starting up a business in California is rather difficult. However, I'll be relocating to a different state. So the new plan is to um, do canvas part time for the most part over there. The biggest thing is just getting a large enough space to do this stuff because these machines are massive.
Hmm.
And at the same time, each machine has its own particular job.
Hmm.
So you can't just use one machine to do everything. You have to use multiple machines, for example, to do a canvas top.
Hmm.
So having all this equipment takes up a lot of space. And so finding a new place in order to accommodate all that's going to be the goal in the near future.
Yeah, now you cut out briefly when you said you're gonna, it's hard to start a business in California. And did you mention where you're planning to go to?
The Boise, Idaho is the new destination.
Okay, that's a great town.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any products, anything you want to kind of show off for today?
Sure. So I'll show off a few of the products that I mentioned earlier. For example, this is the grill welting for the early and late MBs. Um, I recently made a large run of this and it sold out rather quickly. But these are again hard to make because it took a very specific sewing machine back then, which as far as I know doesn't exist nowadays. So I've had to create some unique tools in order to make this stuff.
Hmm.
But it's a cotton twill with paper gutting, sewn twice with a work. So those kits are available with the correct split rivets.
Hmm.
Um, Another kit is your gas can straps. So these come with the correct wartime C-tips, the correct hinge jaw buckle, and these are also correctly riveted on a wartime rivet machine. Um, so those turn out really nice once they're done as well.
Hmm. Looks great.
The other products that I started getting into was for the 1.5 and 2.5 ton trucks. So for the G506 and the CCKW. Started off slowly with the small parts like
Hmm.
the squeaker kits, moved on into this is the canvas skirt lacing that goes on the inner skirts that go between the skirt and the chassis. And then another product that wasn't available until recently, which is olive drab leatherette wind lacing for the door cabs or for the doors for the cab.
Hmm.
These are also available in the kits to finish off your closed cab if you got one. And then I guess most of what I churn out is 1-inch straps, whether it's for the Jeep, the truck, WC, Dodge trucks, pretty much anything that needs a 1-inch strap. Most of these are correctly stamped with the anchor marks by North and Judd, or if you've got GPW hardware, and they'll be painted olive drab.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if they're and if they need D tips, they'll have those as well. But most of what I stock is the C tip stuff. And then eventually, I've been working with a hardware company to try and get the correct fasteners for the Jeep tops. And I know that's been one of the biggest requests that I get is for the MB and the GPW tops. But right now, the biggest drawback right now is the correct hardware. And I don't do generic tops in general, although I think Nick Hopper is going to start doing that pretty soon. But the biggest thing is getting these little guys here. These are the correct cinch fasteners. They were used from start to end of production. And for a short time, I was able to get them pretty easily. I just had to have them refinished at a finishing company. But both the finishing company moved out of California and the hardware company has been hit hard by COVID. So I haven't been able to get hardware since then. But hopefully next year that's going to change, especially with the new move and the larger shop. And again, the plan is to start doing this full time and have at least stuff on the shelves ready to go out the door.
Do you have a time frame set for your move?
Let's see, I move January here, and I'm hoping by March I can at least start back production on my small stuff like the wind lacing, the grill lacing, the straps, and then eventually get into the larger canvas pieces like doors and tops and things like that.
What's your recommended way to attach the lacing there for the grill? And I'll show you this. I bought one of these tools. If you've seen these before, this came from DCM Classics, and it's a split rivet tool. So is this the kind of thing that I need for that, or is there something else that you recommend?
On a slat grill, that'd probably work just fine because it's pretty easy to reach those rivets. You know, slat grill, the rivets are the head faces down instead of up on the later one. On the regular MB stamped grill, I've seen people fabricate their own tool, which have been pretty decent.
Like out of vice grips and stuff.
It's kind of bulky to get in some of the tight spots. Yeah. So basically, whatever is easiest to get those rivets at least pried open, and once you get those open, they're pretty easy to get in and fasten down.
Yeah, that tool was, I think it was $37 from DCM Classics, and then by the time you get shipping in there, you're right around $50.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, these are expensive tools for a one-time use unless you got a production line going on.
Right. It's going to go in my drawer, and hopefully I'll use it 10 years from now. So, okay, great. Anything else you want to add about your business, or anything? Any other future plans you want to talk about?
Mostly, I'm just trying to get to everybody's orders as fast as I can, as much as I can. Right now, the current job schedule is not really conducive to devoting to canvas full time. So I'm hoping that once I move in the new job, especially allows me more time to myself, which means more time to devote to canvas production. So if I can devote more time to canvas production, I can crank out more products. I can take on more requests. I used to be able to do. Right now, I can't do that, but hopefully in the future I can do that. But again,
it dropped out during that. It dropped out during the I'm hoping to, and then it's like, I hope to do that in the future. What were you saying?
Yeah, you can thank T-Mobile for this great cell service.
Yeah.
I'm hoping in the future, at least in the near future, that I can devote more time to canvas production, getting to everybody's orders, doing custom jobs again, and even repairs.
Okay, great. So how do people reach out to you if they want to get some of your products?
Right now, it's mostly through Facebook Messenger. But if you want to email me, it's just Farrell Fox at chg@gmail.com. No, Farrell Fox chg@gmail.com.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, and there's so many other people named Farrell Fox. It's you're pretty hard to locate. So
Oh yeah,
uh,
I'm just where's Waldo, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking some time today. And like I say, I use your products myself, so I'm looking forward to getting my lacing and getting that installed, and and moving this project along. And good luck with your move.
Yeah, well, I sure appreciate the patronage and good luck on your project.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, well, that concludes this episode of the Peep Show. Any other vendors that want to come on here, just go and reach out to me, and we'll put together a schedule and kind of go from there. So, anyone, have a great day and stay safe out there.